Hey guys, Big Todd coming to you from the kitchen. Guys, I got something for you today. We are going to make homemade pizzas in the wood burning pizza oven that we built outside. We're going to make our dough, we're going to make our sauce, and then we're going to cook them. We'll show you how that goes. So stick with us. All right, guys, this is the night before we're gonna do cook the pizzas. We make the dough the night before. It gives the yeast a chance to do its thing and all that stuff. So always heard it's best to do it the night before. So that's why I do it. I do it the night before. All right, here we go. So this is the dough recipe that I use. Feel free to use any dough recipe that you have, but this seems to work for us. Let's see. So we're going to go 5 cups of flour. Four. And 5. All right, 5 cups of flour. We're going to go 1 packet of the Fleischmann's Rapid Rise Instant Yeast. Or you could do a tablespoon or a teaspoon and a half if you have the bigger jar. I usually have the bigger jar. I ran out, so I just have one of these packets, so I'll use that. Then we're going to do a tablespoon and a half of salt. So 3 of those. I do heaping. I like my dough a little saltier. And then we need a little over 2 cups of cold water. All right, first thing we're going to do, we're just going to get those dry ingredients mixed in. And by the way, this is much easier to do with this KitchenAid mixer and this dough hook. I've never done it by hand, but I can't imagine doing it without this. All right, now it's time to go in with our water. We're just going to slowly trickle it in. And we're going to let that mix. All right, that is about the consistency we want it. Let's get over here. We'll get some flour out on our counter. I also get a little flour on my hands. Makes it a lot easier to get the dough out so it doesn't stick to you. So that's about where we want it. It's soft. It's sticky, but not too sticky. There we go. All right. Okay. Get some of that flour on it. We're going to stretch it a few times. And now we're just going to roll it out into a log. This is how I like to make my dough balls. And out of a batch like this, the 5 cups of flour, I usually get 8 dough balls. And that makes personal pizzas, about 10-inch pizzas for people. And that's about all people want, really. A few people come back and make more pizzas, but usually one of these does somebody. This is great for parties, guys, because you can build these pizzas and people can put whatever they want on them. They can make their own personal pizza. So I cut that in half. I'm going to cut each one of these in half. And then I'm going to cut each one of those in half. And that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dough balls. All right. All right, guys, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grease up our tray here. Got some good olive oil. And just kind of oil this tray down so the dough doesn't stick very bad. Okay. Here we go. And this is how I make my dough balls. Just push it up from the inside. Just like that. Some dough balls are going to be a little bit bigger than others, but they're all relatively the same size. That's it, guys. Pretty simple dough recipe. Simple ingredients. Now we just have to let the salt and the yeast and all that good stuff do what they do. All right, that's my 8 dough balls. Now, the last thing I'm going to do so the plastic wrap doesn't stick to it is I just come and put some olive oil on top. And this really works well for keeping that plastic wrap from sticking to it. Now, what I have done before is taken and while I'm mixing this dough up, put some Italian seasoning in it. I've put red pepper flakes in it. I put rosemary in it. And it all comes out pretty good. This is just your plain dough. You can do anything you want from this base dough right here. All right. Typically, I make 4 of these batches when we're doing like a big Sunday dinner with all the family coming over. All right. We'll get them wrapped up, get them covered up. And this is going to keep them from developing that hard skin on the outside while they proof. Actually, I'm going to put them in the fridge. All right, guys, we got our 8 dough balls here. We got them covered with olive oil. We got them covered with saran wrap here. And we're going to be good to go. We're going to go in the fridge overnight, and we're going to pull them out a couple hours before we're ready to cook. 8 of them, family of 5. This will be plenty of dough for us. All right, guys. Big Todd coming to you from the back porch. Next day, we made our dough yesterday or last night for our pizzas. And so now it is time to fire up the old pizza oven. Let me show you what we got going here. So I've got some pallets here. Got about 4 pallets. I cut them up into thirds, and that's what I use to get the pizza oven started, guys. Because you're cooking with coals. You're not cooking with the smoke off of the pine wood or anything like that. You're just getting a bed of coals going. Then later on, I'll add some oak to it because those get the oven really hot, and it makes really good coals. And then when I go to put the pizzas in, I usually put a piece of oak on there so we can get a little bit of that oak smoke. So here's what we got, guys. I've built a fire in here so far. I don't know if you can see it. That is some flour bags. We bought 2 big old bags of flour because I used it all last night making the dough, and we need to restock. So I got my flour bags balled up in there. Got some cardboard boxes balled up in there. Got 2 quarters of a pallet. ready to go. And then I've got some lighter knot here. I've got some lighter knot stuck down in some places there. And if you guys don't know what fat wood or lighter knot is, it's where the sap falls down in a dead pine tree and pulls at the bottom and gets really, really hard and heavy, but it's also sap saturated. So it's almost like that charcoal you buy with a lighter fluid already in it. That's what we got here. So we're going to light this fire and show you how we get it going. Hang on one sec. Okay, guys, we're going to try to light this fire up right now, and we're going to try to do it without burning the camera. And it's super hot. Once I get this fire going good, then I'm going to take a dip in the pool and let this thing burn. Let's see what we can do here. Of course, the wind picks up right as I'm trying to light this piece of lighter knot. I like to get a couple pieces burning so I can drop it down in the back here. And hopefully it'll get that caught. Also, one thing I did, guys, is I take a little vegetable oil and squirt it in there. You probably saw the wet spots. That's vegetable oil. It kind of soaks that paper and lets it burn longer instead of just burning up and going away. Drop that one down in there. And maybe we'll do one more in the middle. My father-in-law comes over and starts the fire for me. He is really, really good at getting these fires going and getting the temperature perfect for cooking pizzas. We cooked pizzas last weekend and the oven was super wet. As you can see, I don't have a chimney, so water gets in. And when it's wet, it's hard. You got to burn it a long time to get all the water to steam out of it. And it is really, really tough to cook a good pizza. So you guys are in luck. It was dried all week. And we put a cover over it so any of the rain didn't get. Just light these flour bags. We got it going in the back. I know I'm standing right in the way. You guys can't see a whole lot, but can't be helped. We'll just light these flour bags, get them going. And this sucker will take off. You can hear it sucking the air in the bottom and shooting it out the top. It's really pretty cool. There we go. Once we get that going, I'm just going to lay some stuff on top here, just to get it rocking and rolling. And yep, I put the nails and everything with the pallets in there. It doesn't bother anything. When we clean the ashes out, we always see the old burned up nails. And we'll get a lot of black smoke out of it for a while till she gets good and hot. That's what we got going, guys. All right. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump in the pool and cool off. And we're going to let that burn. We'll catch you guys in a little bit. All right, guys. Well, had the camera a little too close and it shut down, said it was too hot. So I let it burn down a little bit. And yeah, well, let me tell you the great thing. What a great thing about having a wood burning oven in your backyard in Florida in the summer and you want to use it. The great thing is I got the pool. And then over there, I got the cold plunge to get into. So I have already hit the pool. I hit the cold plunge. And the fire's burned down. So I'm ready to add some wood to it. At this point, I add a little oak to it because I want to get some of that good hardwood in there. And then I will stack more pallet on top of that. So here we go. I'll show you guys. try not to burn the camera up this time. All right. Whew, that baby's hot. Whew. I think last week I took all the hair off my arm doing this. See if we can get another piece of this oak in there. All right, looking good. We're just gonna let it burn, guys. That's what we call the fire-breathing dragon. Oh yeah, she's getting hot. All right, guys, we got the fire going out in the oven. It's roaring, it's doing good, getting that baby hot. Now we're gonna make our sauce. We don't have a ton of ingredients, and this is how we make our sauce. You guys make your sauce any way you want. We cook ours on the stove. I've seen a lot of people just use tomatoes and call it a day, or tomato sauce and call it a day. This is how we make our sauce. We're gonna need a bunch of garlic. Now, some of this garlic, probably half this garlic, is gonna be set to the side and minced up so you can just put it on top of your pizza when you're cooking it. 1 red onion in the sauce. For just my family, we're gonna use 2 of these 28-ounce cans of San Marzano whole tomatoes. And I'll show you how we're going to deal with those in a minute. 2 of those cans, a little bit of granulated garlic, a little bit of Italian seasoning, a little bit of crushed red pepper, and then always with the Baja sea salt. All right, let's get started. All right, 1 whole diced red onion coming up. There we go. We're going to set that to the side. And before we get our garlic going, we're going to come over here and turn our pan on and start getting it hot. All right, garlic time. We're just going to smash it under our knife blade like this. We like lots of garlic in our sauce. So if you don't like lots of garlic, don't put as much. Ooh, that one shot all over me. And we'll save the rest of that to go on top of the pizza. Okay, guys, we're just going to give this garlic a rough chop here. It's going to cook down, and we're going to blend everything up at the end anyways. Okay. Oh, one other thing I forgot to tell you guys about was our fresh basil. We got a basil plant outside, and we always like to cook with fresh basil in our sauce. So let's get that going. And we like lots of it. We like big, bold flavors here in the Big Todd household. As the name would imply, everything we do is big. So we're going big with the basil. We'll reserve some of these smaller leaves for when we're cooking the pizzas. After we put the pizza in the oven, bring it out, throw some of that fresh basil down there. That's always good. We'll reserve that back. And let's cut up our basil here. Okay. All right, let's see if our pan's ready. Getting there, we'll get us a good splash of olive oil in there. All right, guys, looks like our pan's good and hot here. Gonna go ahead and get our onions down. And mix around pretty good. We'll start those sauteing. Start sweating it down with some of our good Baja sea salt. A little black pepper. And we'll let that work. All right, guys, we're going to show you how we do these whole tomatoes here. We're just going to dig them out of the can here, and you can feel the stem side. And you just want to grab the tomato off the outside, kind of crush it with your fingers, and get it in the bowl. We're going to throw that stem part away. That part in the middle, that hard part in the middle, we're going to get rid of that. So, and any skin might be in there, we're going to get rid of that. There we go. All right, our onions are cooked down pretty good. Now we're going to add our garlic and our basil to it. We're going to get that going. Man, I wish you guys could smell this. This is smelling good. Add a little more salt. We've been through all our tomatoes. We got all our tomatoes over here, all our stems over here. We're going to throw this away. All this juice that's left in the can, we just want to pour it right in there. That is good stuff, and we don't want to leave it out. All right, so once our garlic gets cooked down a little more and gets working, we're going to add this tomato to it. We're going to season it up, and we're going to let it cook down, and then that is our sauce. All right, we got our garlic cooked down with our basil and our onion, and we are ready to add our tomatoes. We're just going to go in just like this. Now, I am not a raw or canned tomato guy. I can tell you that. But when you cook a tomato, whatever happens in that cooking process, I absolutely love it. I love the sauce. I love tomato soup. It's good stuff. All right, we're going to season it up with a little more salt, pinch of pepper, a little bit of granulated garlic. Can't get enough garlic. Some Italian seasoning, and then just a little bit of red pepper. We don't want it to be super spicy. Just a little kick to it. All right, we let our sauce thicken up here. It's cooked down, looking really, really good. I gave it a little taste, and it's tasting great. The last step we're gonna do, personally, I like it chunky like this, but my son likes it nice and smooth, so we're gonna go ahead and take the stick blender, and we're gonna blend it up, make it smooth for him. I think it just tastes and is a little more rustic when it's chunky, but it doesn't really matter. It all tastes good. And there we go. We got it nice and smooth. We're just going to let this sit here on super low and do its thing till we're ready to make pizzas. All right, guys, let's head out here. We're going to check that fire. She's been burning for a little over 2 hours now. It was good and dry to start with, so I don't expect it'll take the full 3 hours. But let's see what we got. Let's turn you around here. Whoa, man, you can feel it. Golly, that's hot. That is hot. Let me zoom you in here. This is what we got. So I think she's probably close to ready. We're gonna go in here. I set the dough out. I kind of forgot. I set it out a little late. So I usually set it outside here because it's warm. It warms it up from being in the refrigerator. It wasn't really warmed up very much, so I set it in the sun. And oh yeah, they're starting to warm up now. So probably 30 minutes, 45 minutes. These will be ready to go, and we'll show you how we make the pizzas. We're back, and it looks like that fire has burned down. So let's see what we got here. Ooh-wee. It is hot. We'll push all these coals to the back of the oven. Then we'll clean up our cooking surface, and then we'll be ready to go. All right, got all the coals back. And what I like to do is, I used to use a brush, but they just burn up in this hot oven. So what I like to do is just take a wet rag, and I just used this last Sunday. So we'll use it again. A wet rag just cleans that up so good. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera or not, but it really just cleans that fire brick up. And it is ready for pizza now. Got me a couple pieces of good hard oak here. I'm just going to set it on top so we can get some flame. Get some flame going. And that'll help get the toppings on top cooked along with the brick on the bottom. Whew. That is hot in there, guys. All right, we'll be back. Whew, that's hot. We are ready to make pizzas. We got our dough here. This is our board. This is where we're going to make the pizza on, which we'll slide it into the oven with, and then we'll pull it back on and we'll cut it on there. And this is some just cheap fiberboard, and they go pretty quick when you get them wet. These actually do pretty good. We had some thin plywood ones for a long time, and they did really good, but we finally just wore them out. Well, actually, we're still using some of them, but we needed more, so we got these now. So anyways, here we go. Gonna get us a dough here. And I just put it right down in our yellow cornmeal. That is just regular old yellow cornmeal. And that's going to keep it from sticking. All right. Get that cornmeal on there. And I like to put a little cornmeal on the board because if it don't slide, it won't come off in the oven. It sticks to this board. It just makes a mess. And you'll ask anybody that ever comes over for pizzas. I'm like the soup Nazi in that Seinfeld show. If it doesn't slide, get it out of here. Go fix it. Now, this is how I do my crust. Sometimes I'll take a rolling pin and roll it out. The difference is if you do it this way, and you see that little hole there, you don't want that. So you want to squeeze that. No holes. You don't want your sauce leaking through onto the board or onto the brick because it sticks and everything. But if you use the rolling pin, then this dough will not puff up. It just stays really thin and kind of cracker crusty. And a lot of people like that. I like it. But this is typically how I roll with it. Just like this. Now we're going to go over and put some sauce on it. And a lot of people think it takes a lot of sauce. It does not take a lot of sauce. Just one little spoonful. And even a full spoonful can be too much sometimes. And I spread it around. I'm all the way to the edge of the dough guy. That's how I like it. But that's what we got. Now what I mean by sliding on the board. We got that cornmeal down. And see how that dough slides on that board? That's exactly what we want. What I like to do now before I put the cheese on is I get some of that garlic. Some of that minced garlic and put on there. Get that on first. Get that cornmeal out of the way. And cheese is another thing. People like a lot of cheese on there where you don't really need a ton of cheese to have the cheese cover your pizza. It actually makes a mess. So it doesn't take a ton. I've got a few of these pieces of mozzarella over here. I'm just gonna, just for a little extra something, make it fancy, I guess. We'll put some of this mozzarella on there. Here we go. Now I'm one of those guys, I like everything on my pizza. I like red onion. Red onion everywhere. Black olives. Which is weird because I really don't like olives in general. I'm not an olive guy. But I really have learned to like black olives on my pizza. A couple banana peppers. Some cubed up ham. A couple mushrooms. Now you want to do this fairly fast. You don't want to be hanging out on this board with this wet dough because it will eventually soak through and it will stick. You don't want it to stick. So you want to check it every now and then. Oh, it's still moving. Make sure it's still moving. She's still moving. Now, I'm a sausage guy. I got some hot Italian sausage here. Usually I use Conecuh sausage. They make it in Alabama. It's really good stuff. I love it. We love it on our pizza, but they didn't have it at the store this morning. We meant to get our ingredients. So just got some old hot Italian sausage, and we'll see how that goes. Throw some, gotta have pepperoni, right? It's a pizza. It's not a pizza without pepperoni. This is a heavy pizza. We'll see how that goes. All right, guys, here we go. Let's see if she slides off the board for us. Don't want our sausage to go rolling. And right off the board. Okay. That floor is awful hot. Look at all that cornmeal already burning. I don't know if you can see it. We're going to take our peel and just kind of make sure our pizza's moving. Move it over there a little bit. I always use the peel to take the pizza out and to kind of break it free from the brick if it ever sticks. And then after that, once it starts hardening up, this is I use this metal hook to just kind of turn it around so it gets done on all sides. And if I have to move the pizza, like get it closer to the flame like I need to do now, I'll just use the peel. Kind of get it in there. Kind of get it in there like that. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that baby's bubbling. It is hot in there. Not quite ready. She's getting there. overloaded this pizza a little bit with too much stuff. You can see how that dough is starting to get that char on it. That's what we want. That char is flavor. I just show you guys how good this pizza is. I just love it. I gotta show you a bite. One bite. Everybody knows the rules. Not here. There's gonna be a lot of bites. That is good pizza. We'll catch you guys later. Yeah. Burnt the roof of my mouth. Every time. Every time.